First ever. I've been doing verbal cardio. Wait, hold on before I even begin. You know what I'm saying? Let me know when you ready, Cam. And then we rolling? Oh man, we big rolling. What's up, good people? It's time for another session of that verbal cardio. And for the first time ever since verbal cardio has been in existence, I have a guest.
Let's go.
And it's been a while, man. This is like, I'm 70-something episodes in. Maybe like 60-something, 70-something.
70 episodes by yourself?
Yeah. Just me running my mouth for 30 minutes.
Hey,
well, now it's a little bit more, but, that's why it's called verbal cardio. We got D-Smoke in the building. First ever.
Champ is here.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you came through, man.
It's a pleasure.
Let me tell you something. It's very hard for me to ask people to do anything.
And why?
I don't know. I just hate.
Oh,
asking.
on your side.
On my side, it's hard for me. Like if I ask you, can you come do my show? Trust and believe. I was like, I don't want to ask. I don't like bothering people. You know what I mean? So, the fact that you was down and you was willing, I appreciate it, man.
Hey, it's a pleasure, man.
Yeah.
Big fan, big supporter.
Yeah,
I already know.
We support each other.
We got some things to share
tough.
for the world to see, later on.
Man,
Yeah.
I can't wait to to see it. I don't know what you got planned on that, but I ain't gonna say nothing.
There
But
we just leave it
keeping
at
it
that.
under wraps, under
Go.
the crock pot. Let me tell y'all, my intro to you
There we go.
is actually your brother. I was familiar with your brother, sir. Younger brother, right?
Yep, younger brother.
Younger brother. Baby, is he the baby?
He is the baby.
Okay,
Sir
three
is the
boys,
baby
right?
Of 4 boys. My mom's 3, my dad's 4.
Got you.
So
okay.
we're the stair-step children, So my dad has my older brother Ron, who's 10 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's Davion, Daniel, and Daryl.
All
Sir
Ds.
is Sir Daryl, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
So in the household, did y'all grow up with your oldest brother there?
At times, yes.
Okay.
But not in our early childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Early childhood, he stayed with my grandmother in Inglewood.
Okay.
And we were in an apartment in wherever that apartment was as we moved around.
Right.
Because Pops was locked up.
Mm-hmm.
So when Pops came home at 9, when I was 8, let's say.
Yeah.
Then we got a house in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Ron came to move with us, even though he was grown, early 20s.
Yeah.
It was all right, come with the family. Pops is home, boom, boom. And it was all of us. So
Okay.
yeah.
Was he a good older brother?
Oh, he was the best. He was
Yeah.
the greatest. He was unorthodox.
Mhm.
He was one of those older brothers that didn't need a reason.
Okay.
Didn't need a reason to come in, whoop your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But even though it didn't have a reason, it had a purpose in his
Okay.
mind. The goal of this is to make y'all more like this, or to teach you these lessons.
Yeah.
I know you didn't do anything to deserve this treatment, but we gonna get y'all further along
Yeah.
through calculated abuse.
Just
so,
out the gate, y'all be minding your own business. He come in there.
minding our bit, literally watching TV, and then he comes in the other room what you doing? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And we
Dang.
So, but then of course he's also that person that introduced me to Outcast. He's also
Okay.
that person that literally taught me how to talk to girls. You know what I'm saying? Pops was a minister, so
Okay.
them
So you got that
conversations.
perspective.
Yeah,
from
Pops is like, hey, when you get of age, get married and make a baby. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
yeah.
Ron is like, look, man, it's complex. Don't be no simp. He
Right.
told me, don't be no simp.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what's a simp?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm on the phone like, no, I love you more.
Yeah.
At 10.
At 10.
So, but
Stakes was high at 10, man.
it was high.
Like
It was high.
when you like somebody, you foresaw the whole future.
Yes.
You was like the marriage, the Pegasus,
The
the children, the butterflies,
Yes, the
and,
unicorns, all that special
buttery.
stuff.
This is it. This is the moment.
Yes.
And then you realize that's just
It ain't
one
all
of
like
many.
this. It's a journey.
Yeah, that was just the
It's a journey,
beginning.
yeah.
So he came in with that perspective, and then Pops was like, "That 10-year-old girl right there, that's gonna be your wife. Y'all gonna
That
have
was
a
me.
family."
No, that was me.
Mhm.
Okay, so let me give you more context. Mom is a minister of music.
Mhm.
Pops is a preacher. He was preaching in jail before he got home,
Okay.
leading the jailbirds to Christ,
Mhm.
And so they get home, and we go to a non-denominational church, so it's not too traditional for us to we don't feel boxed in. It's like, oh no,
Okay.
we got the youth dance, we got this, that,
Mhm.
but everything is still gospel in
Right.
the house,
Mhm.
So the way we approach relationships was very like, okay, you know, I love you, you love me, we love God, let's do, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whereas my brother, who did his teenage years while Pops was locked up, he, you know, he from Inglewood, he banged in Inglewood.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, it ain't black and white, you know what I'm saying? So he just throw that little reality into it, you know? So yeah, but that was a good environment. It was a perfect environment for, you know, learning to love music, rap, and doing something different. Because, you know, for example, my brother Ron, he was still one of the most intelligent dudes I had ever met. You know, so putting me up on Outcast and Erykah Badu doing music that's still like hella soulful, hella dope, and thoughtful, you know. So that's that balance we struck.
And it's funny because, like, you know,
mine is loud.
oh,
huh?
from the
I'm
creek.
trying. Yeah.
That's the chair I had yesterday for verbal. Every move was like creak, 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 creak.
Sorry about
It's funny that you mentioned like Outcast and Erykah Badu because, you know, around that time, you know, Erykah hit the scene 97. Right before that, AT Aliens came out 96.
96 gonna be that year that all your players had to fight me.
Yes.
Around this.
I stole money from Dairy Queen for that album.
Hey.
And
were you working there? Or
I was
like
working there.
Out
you
the
know what I'm saying?
register.
You know,
Hey,
skimmed a
homie
little
had
off
the
the
same-
top.
Yeah.
Got it first day. But and it's funny, I don't know if you went through this too, like when you first got a job and you first like started making your own money, the music you was buying, you was more connected to than the music you came up with. Like you, whatever your older brother was listening to, whatever your parents were listening to, you was tapped in because they were playing it all the time.
Right.
But it was something about getting your own music together that made it just more. Now you playing it in your car or whatever, or you listening to it when you on the bus.
Yeah.
And it just means more because I heard this, I found it, I'm connected to it. And so it's funny that you mentioned like Outkast, Erykah Badu, because in those times I was really buying music heavy.
Cassettes.
Man, I was all in. First, I was opening day McGee. Tuesday, I was in the store getting that new album.
Absolutely.
Day one.
Absolutely.
I missed that though.
Me too. I was talking to somebody about how the fact that you can't tangibly hold music, or you can, but it's like a collector's item. It's not even how you listen to it.
Right.
Whereas, you know, I'm aging myself, but when I started listening to music, I could hold it,
Yeah.
unpackage it, read it, and put it in and read it and look at it while I listen to it, right? And so a lot of the DSPs now are developing some of the interactive things that kind of mimic that experience. You can listen to the lyrics as you watch it. You can click on it and do certain things, which is cool. But it changed the way you listen to a project because if you buy it and you hold it in your hand and it's on a cassette tape, one, there's no like press a button and it's to the next song. That was like I started with cassettes, then CDs, then you know, so you would listen to projects for whole bodies of work. You know, and you know how I like to compare it to how now on Instagram people compare their regular lives to people's best moments that they post, right? And then the same thing, if we look at music as singles versus all of these songs that got you to that single or the journey, right? Because I appreciate the whole project as much as I appreciate that single, me and you, yo mama and yo cousin too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it took those other songs to get you there in the same way that it took you waking up, brushing your teeth, combing your nappy ass hair, doing XYZ to get to that picturesque moment, which is the single. So that's what's interesting about music now. It's like people are putting out what they want to be a collection full of singles because the way streaming works and all of that, it lends to your popularity as an artist. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna pay for that one right there. That's gonna be.
Oh, the salmon.
It's
the
happening.
salmon's
You know
coming
what I'm
up.
saying? It's happening. But yeah, you know, music.
And that's I like that you said that because your album, it felt like an album. And I'm from that era where, like you said, you buy the tape, you reading the booklet, you looking at the credits. That Outcast album was a comic book. That was the theme.
Yeah.
So it was like we looking at the artwork. Oh, the artwork. Then you looking at who produced what, and all of that, and the thank yous and the mentions, you just like, yeah, you really taking it in as you listen to every track.
Yep.
And I feel like now it's just like you're streaming it. It drops Friday at midnight. You just go in there and then you go through. And a lot of times with me, like when I go to an artist's album, you know, on Apple Music, they give you a star on I guess the most popular song.
No, I know about that.
But usually my favorite is never star.
It's not the star one?
Yeah.
Like,
it's
how
rare.
did you get that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, something my team pays attention to, because I try to just be in tune and not pay attention to the metrics and all that stuff when I don't have to. But it's usually within the first 4 to 5 songs that star is there too. So it's like people's attention span is so short that it's like, hey, bro, you better not put your best one on the second half. You better say that for the ride out. You know?
Right.
So
yeah.
So it's just interesting.
And your brother, Sir, for those that don't know, you know, he's a singer, and he's with TDE. You know, he got my attention. The project with the I. Was that November?
Oh, yeah, that's November.
And so I was like, yo, this is dope. Because TDE is a record label that has my attention.
Yeah.
So it was just like, oh, you know, I'm listening to...
What they got.
Yeah, you know, because I'll be like, what they got going over here? And so I heard Sir, and then he was aware of me somehow. And so I was like, oh, snap. And then I met him at the Laugh Factory. Were you there that night?
I don't believe so. Was that like my dad's birthday?
Yes.
Yeah, I was there.
You were there.
Was he there? He was there?
Sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was there
my
one
dad's
time,
birthday?
and your dad was there.
Okay, my dad's always there.
Okay, so...
What's the other guy? Friend of the family?
Hosting the show?
Yes.
Ruben,
yes.
Ruben
That's
Paul.
my dad. Him and my dad are super cool.
That's
yes.
what, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was able to talk to Sir there.
Yeah, okay.
And then I became aware of you through his page. And then I think Tahir mentioned your EP.
Yeah. Inglewood High.
Inglewood High.
Yeah, me and Tahir had a little sit down over some art and stuff.
Yeah.
A little sketch. It was funny.
Yeah, man. He put your EP in the group chat.
Dope.
And I was like, yo, let me tune into this. And then I remember hitting you up on Instagram. I remember I was at a acai bowl spot out of town. I think I was in Connecticut. And that's when I first, you know, talked to you directly. And I was like, yo, man, this project, whatever we talked about in that moment.
Yeah, we chopped it up.
Yeah, and I was just like, yeah. So then that prompted me to watch Rhythm and Flow, which you won.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, I kind of had the cheat code because I already knew you won before I watched it.
Right.
But it made me tap in and be like, yo, let me peep this happy ending. And then it was a great show. For those that don't know D Smoke, he was the winner of Netflix's Rhythm and Flow show. It was hosted by Cardi B, T.I., and Chance the Rapper. He made it through all these trials and tribulations,
turns,
going against talented MCs and lyricists, and came out on top. Never cried.
Never cried.
You never folded.
To the end.
To the end, but we could barely...
a thug tear, though, just a thug
The victory
one.
tear is a little different, you know,
Yeah.
because sometimes you wonder... You know some of it is real, but then some of it you be like, how much are they playing for the drama of the show?
Right.
But you never needed that moment. You was just always in the pocket.
Bro, you know what? To keep it 100, I was ready to go home at any moment. I was like, hey, if they send me home, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm going home. I'm doing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I knew, it's funny how, you know, how God worked. You level up at the moments where you find contentment right where you at. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I know how to exist here. We cool. I find my little homeostasis, my little balance. And then, you know, I was ready to turn down the show. I actually, the day before, I performed for Snoop, and then I told them, like, you know what, I'm not going to do it, you know, because the general language in the contract for a reality series or a competition show is that they have to upfront say, anything you do, whether it reflects poorly on your artistry or not, can be used for the show, right? So I come from the school of, I'm gonna do whatever you tell me, I'm gonna believe you. So if you say basically like, if you embarrass yourself, you're gonna be embarrassed. I'm gonna be like, well, I'm not putting myself in that position.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I told them why. When I called them like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it, they had already kind of had plans for me, like, you gonna do all right because you different, da-da-da. And when I told them like, nah, I don't want to do it, they was like, look, there's no boogeyman. Like, come through. If you give us whatever you give us, that's what's gonna be on there. If you give us, you know, corny moments, weird moments, if you if you be making a spectacle of yourself, that's what you're gonna get. Whereas if you give us real moments, if you give us you, that's what the world's gonna get. We're not trying to make you out to be nothing else.
Okay.
So me and my team talked, and then we was like, all right, let's jump. You know? And the rest was history, you know. So
yeah, and it was a good reflection. I was like, yo, because you was just cool the whole time.
Man, I was trying to stay out the way.
Yeah, you was like laid back the whole time.
It's crazy because it's like the world gets 10 hours of reality TV. We got hundreds and hundreds of, like, filming it. Like, one episode is like 4 days of filming, and one day is like 8 hours, 12 hours sometimes, and the 12 hours ain't much if you busy the whole time, but 12 hours if you like if you sitting down waiting for cameras. Oh my God, it's so it's so long and gruesome. And then imagine 12 hours in a room with 25 rappers. And they all got like either headphones or Beats. They gave us Beats pills and sat us in the same room. It's like 5 beats playing at the same time off a different pill. And then they like, you know, people pacing, spitting their lyrics like, and I'm over here like, oh man, if y'all don't leave me alone. You know, so I would just put and I had in-ears. So in-ear monitors are molded to the shape of your ear, so they zone out everything. Oh, wow. You're really not supposed to use them unless you're on stage. But, you know, I just plug them into whatever, and I'm like, I'm zoned out. Like, I can't do it, you know. So.
Did you already... Black Habits dropped shortly thereafter.
Right.
Was Inglewood High already... When you first did Rhythm and Flow, did you already have Inglewood High completed?
You know, it's funny. I had most of Black Habits completed.
Okay.
A little bit of Inglewood High. So we split up what we thought was Black Habits, added some elements to Inglewood High. Okay. Then put that out. In the meantime, as Inglewood High is out, we're also putting out, or putting together the last couple pieces of Black Habits. No Commas, we had made before Inglewood High came out. Okay. Closer to God, we made long before Inglewood High came out. Bullies, before Inglewood High came out. You know, but Gasparianga, after Inglewood High, you know, that was just before Black Habits came out. That's probably the last one, the fourth quarter song. Okay. You know, and then, ironically enough, the title song, Black Habits 1, because we had, Black Habits 2 was finished in early 2019. Black Habits 1 came later. You know, we did that at Snoop's compound as well. So we had work from both EPs or both projects out, you know, completed already. And then just added the touches to complete the storyline of what each one told, you know. So. Okay.
Because it was like, as soon as you won, it was rapid fire. Bop. It was like, boom, bow.
No, we own them.
You was ready.
On them. Because the thing is this. We know we were up against a notion that people have in their minds of what it means to be on a competition show, right? And it's based on how they're produced. Right. You know, the public believes that the competition show winners are here for this moment, and then, you know, then it fizzles out in their minds. You know, so, but we knew we'd have their attention in a way that, you know, no other person would, being a winner of that show for that time. So our goal was to immediately give them as many moments outside of Rhythm and Flow that we had on the show. So if it's like, if I got 30 minutes of screen time on the show total, I need an hour and a half of my own during this season where they're like super tuned in. Right. You know, and I always compare it to having a fish on the hook. You know what I'm saying? When it first bites, it's not in the boat. You know, once it first bite, you feel it. You got to yank it to get it on the hook good and reel it in without it breaking the line. And that's kind of how fans and the public are. You know, no slight to them, but people have a short attention span, and unless you know, you get their attention, but then it's that moment where you got to connect with them. And when you make lasting connections, that's when it's like, okay, they're a fan for life. Yeah. So it's way more people that know of me than are fans of me, you know, and that's cool. That's the nature of what we do. If it take 50 million people knowing who we are to have 500,000 fans,
those you know, 500,000.
Hey, if my 500,000 listen, I love y'all. Keep rocking with a nigga, you know. So we need them.
For real. Because it's like you can make, on that small percentage, you can make a nice living doing what you want to do still with that little super small, that really, truly rock with you because they're going to be here to stay.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And
you try to grow that. You know what I'm saying? And they're your biggest asset to growing that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the real science of it, you know.
I'm one of those fans, man. You stuck with me. I consider myself a good fan of the people I'm into. I feel like I've always been like, it's hard to get rid of me as a fan. Like you got to really like put out some garbage projects back to back to back to even, you know, and I'll still be like, nah, they could do it again.
Come on.
That shows in my loyalty to sports teams. It'd be like, man,
who's your team?
All Chicago. And so you know,
it's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
Well, people be like, "Why don't you just give up, Tone?" I'm like, "That's not even an option.
Sorry,
that's not even an option for me." And so I'm like that with like musicians that I'm a fan of, actors, directors, whatever. And so, and when you came out with the back to back, I was like, this dude stuck with me, man, because it was like Black Habits was just a monster. Major rotation.
Thank you.
So Sabrina tell you, man, I played the hell out of that album.
Thank you.
Just on steady rotation. And then I like to share music that I'm into.
Yeah.
And so when people tell me in the comment section, yo, Tony, man, I rock with your taste in music, that means more to me than damn near them thinking I'm funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you like my taste in music? Man, you know what I'm saying?
I like my taste in
music
music
too. Man. Let me put y'all on.
Hey, no.
So at what age were you like, all right, I'm going to be a musician? Because not a lot of people know you used to be a teacher.
I was.
Yeah.
I was a school teacher. Well, it was at 6 years old when I was like, oh, music is my thing.
Okay.
And my mom is and always has been in my lifetime a minister of music. But at 6, she was both a minister of music and touring and, you know, singing background gigs for people ranging from Michael Jackson, Tina Turner, you know. And she turned down a tour with Stevie Wonder.
She turned it down?
Yeah, because it would take her all around the world and she would really just be away from her kids. And she cried, you know what I'm saying? That was her hero. And she just cried it out and stayed home.
She picked y'all over the Stevie Wonder
tour. She did. She picked the Ferris Boys and taught us everything that she knew musically. Yeah. And so it was at 6 I played piano. At 10, that's the first time I was in the studio and saw at 8 I saw my uncle's recording setup. And so I'd seen pianos and musical instruments, but I hadn't seen equipment just yet. Like, you know, mics, the booth, the buttons, the knobs, the sound modules. I was like, what's a module? You know what I'm saying? Like,
module?
A module? You know, the rack, you know, because this is an old studio. And nowadays, it's a laptop interface mic. We're good to go, and a keyboard, you know, speakers. But it was like a lot of stuff. Yeah. So I felt like this is a little control room, a little spaceship. And I told my uncle then, like, can I make a beat? He let me make a beat on his equipment.
At 8?
At 8. And I was the kind of kid that when I would make something up on the piano, I would play that every day. Yeah. For years, maybe. You know, and I had a couple things, you know, but I still know how to play those little songs that I made up as a kid. To the point where my dad would come in, and my dad's the non-musical one. He would be like, why don't you play something different, son? And I'm like, damn, I'm expressing myself. You know? So, but he let me make a beat on his equipment. And by the time I was 13, when he wanted to get all new equipment, he packed up everything. Him and his newlywed wife at the time packed up all their stuff, wrapped it, and brought it over to us. We wrapped it, and we was like, a Planet Fat, oh, Mike, oh, this. Yeah. You know, and so he gave us a whole studio. And that's when we were like, okay. That's when I was like, all right, I want to be a producer. And then at the time, it was like Dark Child. You know, the tags on the beginning of beats, like it was Dark Child, it was Timbaland, you know, the Pharrell and the Neptunes. You know, that was probably like the 3. And then, of course, Dr. Dre. Yeah. You know, DJ Quick, you know, it was those people that just had me like, oh, I'm a producer. You know? So, and then mind you, my whole family is talent throughout it. You know, my brother Davion Sir, Tiffany Goucher. Like, if you're not on her, she's on one of the songs that I did off of Inglewood High. But my main goal was to put them in a position to get their music out, you know, and I was writing songs too. So we got signed to Warner Chappell when I was like 20. And then start writing for other people. I wrote a song for Jaheim called Never. You know, it was a love song, again, going back to my Boys to Men gospel home roots. I used to say never would I love this way. So, but that did really well. Got an ASCAP award and all that.
Oh, damn.
And then when Jaheim's team didn't come back to us to write another single or to work with him directly in the studio, and although we had this early success, people didn't hit us back up because of like politics and all these different things. That's when we were like, you know, we could do our own music. Like, what's the difference between them and us? And we started this long road of putting out our own stuff and making mistakes on what promotion and business and all that means. Like, the music been dope. But it's like, we ain't no shit. You know, it's nothing. I'm sorry. Is it
no, you can cuss.
Oh, okay. Yeah, damn it. So we ain't no shit. You know,
piss.
Piss.
Yeah.
You know, but then of course that's how the world kind of got this seasoned, experienced, you know, artists versus really talented, dope rappers,
right?
But hadn't, like, if they had seen what I seen, I would be in trouble too. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I didn't start off 10 years old like I'm gonna be a rapper. You know, my first rap when I was 6, it was only like a 10-second rap, and I thought it was dope. It was trash. You know what I'm saying? But
you remember it?
Yeah, but I can't give you that.
Give it to us, man. Come on.
It's really short, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. If I do it slow, is it going? I don't even know. What's
do it. How
so
you
my name
did
is
it,
Daniel. You know, in rap, you got to introduce yourself,
Yeah.
and I knew that much as a kid. So I said, "My name is Dan the Man, and I'm a pan, and I'm a live in a can."
Okay.
That's the whole thing.
You
but
a
I said
pan?
it fast. I'm a pan, like Peter Pan, I guess. I don't know. But I said, my name is Dan the Man, and I'm a pan, and I'm a live in the can.
Bars.
You know what
I'm saying?
I was 6.
I get,
You know, and so that was my first rap. I've grown since then, is what I'm saying.
You know.
And I used to say it all the time. And so, but I didn't say I wanted to be a rapper. And then it was in my 20s, I had a partner named Chiz, rest in peace, who was my rapping partner. And I really was. We was on some Inglewood's Outcast type stuff. I was doing the beats, me and the homie J Pounds, and I was writing the hooks. He was coming in slaying verses. When I talk about, like, this nigga could rap, like, came up, his older brothers was rappers. In the way that my family is musicians and producers, his older brothers was rappers. He came from a line of rappers. So at 13, he's in the talent show, because we went to Warren Lane in Inglewood. He's in the talent show ripping raps, all through Inglewood ripping raps. You know, meanwhile, you know, I had a couple raps under my belt because, you know, Timberland, he a producer, but he had a couple raps. So I'm like, well, let me jump in and jump back out. You know, never taking it too seriously until I was grown. And then when we start going back and forth, I was like, let me try to hang with this dude, you know, and really study rap and where I could play around, where I could switch up the rhymes, where I need to keep the rhyme consistent, you know. And he ended up passing in my mid-20s. He had lymphoma, cancer. So we were still putting out projects through chemo and all different stuff. And it was some shows that I had to spit his verses because he couldn't make it.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like that. And then so that's where rapping came in. But you know, when I'm in the studio now, I'm still like, hey, dude, I got a piano. Can I contribute to this in ways other than rap? And then when I sit down, rap is like a discipline. And I like it. I've grown to enjoy it once you get good at it. But, you know, it was the last expression of, like, my musical journey. Like, I sat down and played first, and I produced, and I wrote, you know, and I still consider myself a writer, you know, and that's kind of the common thread that people will see throughout the project. It's like, there's stories that need to be told. There are topics that need to be touched on, you know, so that's what they got.
And that's what I noticed on Rhythm and Flow. It was like when you were doing your final performance, like, your performances felt very, like, theatrical almost. It was just like cinematic, you know, when you did when the kids pull up. Yeah. You painted that picture of, you know, the houses. You took us to a block in Inglewood. Yeah. Like, I could see the cage windows. I call them cages because I hate the barred up windows. Yeah. But the cage windows in the back. And then when you did your final piece, you on the piano. And it was just like, yo, this dude I felt like you had already been established long before the show because you just felt so seasoned and so musical. It was just like this is a Grammy Award show performance, in my opinion. Then lo and behold, you get the Grammy nomination for Black Habits.
Grammy nomination, yes.
How'd that feel?
Oh man.
Best rap album and best new artist.
And best new artist. That's huge.
That's
huge. You know, and I was in good company. It just felt incredible. The funny thing is, I knew we would see those, but I didn't know it would be that early.
Yeah.
You know, they actually pushed back what we had as a release date because it's like, okay, you're nominated. Now it's campaigning for the... I'm like, wait. And it was like, all right, hold up. Let's see.
They pushed back the release date for what?
A project that we gonna drop.
You got something going?
We got something in the works. It's in the oven. It's in the oven.
It's at 375 in the oven.
415.
Oh, 415.
Yeah, it's at 415. It's baking.
All right, when it coming out the oven?
I'm not gonna tell you. We ain't got the date yet. But it's soon.
It's coming soon. So we pushed that back for the Grammy campaign.
Okay. And then of course, you know, once you get back into creating and you get new content and new songs, and you like, okay, we got to reimagine, you know, the order or the concept, the interludes and things like that. So that's what happened. And, you know, a lot of it is jazz music. You know, you play. No, not the project itself.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying the process is jazz music in terms of like some of it you playing by ear, you know, because in the world we experience moments that where you have people's attention or you have gaps to grab people's attention, and you want to be sensitive to those moments so that you can give your art the best platform to be heard, you know, like not dropping it, like say your album is called, you know, I don't know, fuck the quarantine, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden something happened where you can't say that shit, you know. Not that my album is called that, but you know, we just pay attention, you know.
Yeah. So. That's fire, man.
Yeah.
We're going to go to a question real quick. You got one
Sure.
you feeling, Sabrina?
I got a few. And also, if I'm not mistaken, you were 6 in 91?
I was 5 for most of 91. I'm a late birthday.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm October.
Your flow was ahead of its time.
Well, hey, thank you. You know,
What was that? I was like, hold on.
my name.
And the pan
I'm gonna say
was
it
deep.
again if y'all want.
Say it again, man. Cue it back up.
My name is Dan the Man, and I'm a pan, and I'm living again.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So I do have quite a few questions. Camille asked, well, she said, I love watching families around the piano during the holidays. What are the go-to songs for every gathering?
Ooh.
Go-to songs
Well,
for
ours
every
are for
gathering.
sure gospel. She has. So one, I got a couple that I play. You know, my mom sit down, she play. My mom's, when she sits down, is thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me. Dum, dum, ba-dum, da-dum, dum,
I don't know if I
You
heard
that?
this one.
A good version of that, because it's been recorded multiple times, but Mary has a version of that.
Okay.
Mary, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one that we all, you know, we as a family, we get around the piano and we get real thankful together.
Yeah.
You know? And then and one that I play is Let Go and Let God, which I believe that P.J. Morton wrote.
Oh, wow.
You know, so either him or his father or something, but that's one of my favorite. And He's Able, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what you know, Gospel Chops is, but it's one of the, it goes, God is able to do just what He said He would do. He's gonna fulfill.
And y'all be
every
playing instruments in the
promise to
house.
you. Yeah. Don't give up on God, 'cause He won't give up on you. He's able. And then everybody clapping and all that stuff. It's real good.
Yo, invite us to these family functions.
Man, if you don't pull up, you better stop. We got my mom a grand piano for her last
invite us
birthday
to the
and we be
family function.
gathering.
Because I know y'all going to be like, in any moment, on the keys, and we going to be sitting there taking it.
Now look when I invite you.
Hey, we pulling up.
Hey, there we go, for sure.
We
for
pulling
sure.
up, because that, you know. Cause
You
my
got
friends,
a lot of fans. You got a lot of fans in the house.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like
we pulling up.
You active on the family group chat. All I'm saying is you a regular in that space.
Man,
you know, so
invite us. We
sure.
pulling up. Because, you know, my friends, you know, we had game nights, but we ain't musical.
right.
We don't bust out in the song.
I got
Ain't no
you.
piano
We
in
take
the
it
back.
for granted.
Yeah.
We take it for granted. It happen every time, and we just be like, "Oh, that old thing, that we do."
And
But
then you start casually working the keys. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, man, with a plate in my hand.
it goes down.
Come on, man. You got another
sir.
question, Sabrina?
I do. I have a lot of nerdy questions. I'm going to go to the first one by Marcus June. What's your favorite comic hero and why?
Ooh,
Oh, I like that question.
my favorite comic hero is Donatello.
Oh,
Unexpected.
Donatello.
Donatello.
Donnie.
That's the one. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't pick Donatello.
I did not
Donatello's
see
the
that
smartest
coming.
one.
Yeah.
He's a genius, and he's good with the bow.
He is.
Everything is a bow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If the axle break off your car and somehow you slide the wheels off, it's a bow.
That's true.
Your broomstick is a bow.
Mm-hmm.
Bro.
We use bows
know,
a lot.
Bows. It's a
The
stick.
bed we sleep on. It's
If
a bow
one of the
bar.
wood,
Yep.
if the bar come off, it's a bow. How many karate movies you see him and then he getting jumped? Next thing you know, he kicked the little bottom part off the broom and it's active.
The bow staff.
What?
Donatello, huh? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people
I did not
don't.
see that coming.
Usually they go Raphael or Michelangelo.
Raphael is a hothead.
That's what I don't like about
Michelangelo too
Raphael.
silly. You know what I'm saying? Leo is the leader.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
Okay, I get Leo because sometimes he'll be two swords on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He a leader, but he not necessarily smarter. Like
Nah.
I was like, oh, he's smart and he could fight. Oh, I'm Donatello.
Yeah.
You know, so-
Because you used to teach the community.
I
man.
did.
Do
teach
you
the
miss
community.
teaching?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh,
What
yes.
grade
Like
were
I
you
said,
teaching?
High school.
Oh.
So, and I started teaching high school at 23.
Oh, you was young.
I
in
was
there,
young,
man.
and
was
mind you,
connected.
some of these kids is 19. They like, this is my second try. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 23 years old. They got more facial hair than me,
Yeah.
taller than me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the unorthodox teacher who, like, my approach to teaching was like a whole lot of love and a whole lot of fun and very strict rules.
Okay.
Like on how you interact with each other. Like one, and I had weird pet peeves to them because I'm cool and funny. They thought, and I always had to check those boundaries. They thought everything funny is cool, and it's not. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't let them like tear each other down or be like, just talk bad about each other or just ignore me. Like, look, you don't have the option. If you're not feeling good and you express that, put your head down. Cool, whatever you express it. But if you like, oh, forget him, I'm going to just do what I want to do. Like, because I create an environment that's fun, that's interactive, where there's real care for you, where you could bring in your life experience and that counts as that content or that counts as, what is it? As it's almost currency. You know what I'm saying? A good teacher knows how to validate a student's experience and use it in the lesson and really, you know, account for what they already know coming in. You know, so I'm doing all of those things. If I'm putting all the care to do that and a student comes in and is like, forget Ferris, he cool, I ain't tripping off him. I'm like, no, like, look, I'm gonna give you this option to reorient yourself and get into it, or I'm gonna ask you to leave.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna hesitate to do so. And so they like, oh, he tripping. Like, yeah, I am tripping. You know what I'm saying? I'm tripping today. Either you gonna leave or you go. He like,
Yeah.
They like, what's wrong with him?
You got to do that, though.
Man, and then it got to the point when I got, because I've taught for like 7 plus years. It got to the point where as what I consider myself a veteran teacher, you would show anger without actually being mad on the inside. Because sometimes they only respond to that. Like, look, I'm not asking y'all again. And then they be like, right?
Getting their papers together.
And but at the same time, they're so used to when anger equaling insults and stuff. And it would really be like, look, I made things clear, and what I expect for you to do is X, Y, and Z. If that does not happen, then the following consequences are imminent. And they're like, imminent? Oh, shoot, you know.
The big words.
Exactly,
too.
but I never disrespected them. So
Yeah.
it was just, you become that person that they really respect because it's like you walk that line of like, oh, we gonna have fun. The activities I designed as part of the lessons were fun. Some of it was like, all right, y'all all create a dance that comes, you know, or just random. Get up out your seat and throw paper everywhere. Then we're gonna clean it up together and talk about, you
The
know,
percentages on the cleanup.
precipitation.
What
I
were
don't
you
know.
teaching?
I was teaching Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah, so
because you are
I was teaching
bilingual,
Spanish,
for those that
yes.
don't know, fluent in Spanish.
Yes, absolutely. I have a degree in Spanish literature.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Spanish literature.
Literature. Literatura española.
I wish you were my Spanish teacher in high school, man, because mine was trash.
I had a couple trash Spanish teachers too.
Man, I learned nothing. Coach Terraces. You ruined it for me. I went to French.
You switched in the mid after
I took
a
his
whole
class, learned poot. I learned jack shit in this class. So I went to French. French 1 and 2.
How was French?
It was dope.
Okay.
Because Miss Kelly, she was cool, soft-spoken, chill. You know, her husband was the coach, and then we went in there. We was Francais-ing it up.
He was your coach too.
Actually, no. At that, I wasn't playing then.
Football, basketball?
Yeah, I played football.
Okay.
And then I only played for 1 year, though.
Okay, gotcha. That's one of the first things. When I met you, I was like, damn, this nigga big.
Yeah.
You know, I box, so then I naturally size people up, and I'm like, damn, I have problems on my hands, like just on size alone, like. But yeah, that's one of them sports. Mom was like, y'all can't play football. Mm-hmm. She was like, I ain't gonna have my kids with brain damage.
It's brutal, man.
Yeah.
Boxing is brutal too, though.
Oh, it's brutal. But that's why I didn't box till I was grown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like she wasn't driving me to the nearest gym, and it wasn't one right around the corner. So
you had to get out of mom's care before you did that, before you picked that up. Mm-hmm. We got another question?
We do. Actually, I have a question.
All right.
Now
Brandon
that we're
got a
on
question,
the topic, how often do you get to use your Spanish?
I use my Spanish every day. Like I caught a lift here, and you know, his name was Saúl.
No.
I was like, Saúl, vas a ver la pelea del otro Saúl.
Yeah. I'm sure he was like,
He was like, oh, Saúl Canelo, El Canelo. I was like, yeah. So he was like, I was asking him, you gonna see the other Saúl fight? You know, because Canelo got a fight coming up. You know what I'm saying?
Who was he fighting?
Billy Joe Saunders.
Is he undefeated?
He is undefeated.
Oh.
And the thing about Billy Joe Saunders, he's in the camp in the world of like Tyson Fury, right? He's a white guy, but he ain't quite just white. He's different. Like, and that's why Tyson Fury brought a lot of publicity to the gypsy community, like what it means to be a gypsy man. And he's like, I mean, like, meanwhile, when we came out here, like, when I walked Deontay Wilder out, it's mad gypsies that flew over here, like, and you got little kids, like, 7 years old, like, fuck you, boo, and just going big. And I was like, who are these people?
Right.
Like, you know, and so Billy Joe Saunders is supposed to be like, look, I'm not normal. You know, he's real slick in the sense that, like, he makes people miss a lot. He uses the ring and you know, outboxes people. But Billy Joe Saunders doesn't knock people out like that.
Okay.
You know, so my thing is, if you don't have the power to really stop somebody and you going up against Canelo, like, he's just going to hunt you down. You know what I'm saying? And he's a beast. So
Man, he's good on the defensive tip, too.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
elusive.
Man.
A lot of people didn't realize that. Now they're starting to see the videos of him evading. But, man, he's like, man. And his only defeat is Mayweather. And it's like everybody else can't even... How did you connect with Deontay Wilder to do his intro?
Well, the homies Marcus Watson and Brandon Watson, like, so Sam Watson works directly with Al Hammond, who's like promotes a lot of people from Mayweather to Errol Spence to, you know, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, and so Wilder reached out to them. Wilder had seen the show, and I performed at the Wilder weigh-in when he first fought Ortiz.
Okay.
Then when they had the rematch, no. When he fought Ortiz the second time, I performed at the weigh-in.
Okay.
Then when
they had performances at the weigh-in?
Yeah.
I mean,
not all the time, but I was there performing, you know.
Okay.
And so then, you know, I met Wilder at that fight. And then I was like, what's up? It's D Smoke, you know? And, you know, it was a lot of people. He wasn't listening to nobody. Like, yeah, we going this way. Then he was like, hey, what's up, brother? You know, he saw me, and then he was like, man, me and my wife watched the whole thing, da-da-da-da-da. So I was like, man, let me know if you want me to walk you out, bam. And then
he was like, don't promise me a good time.
You know what I'm saying? Lo and behold, we get that call later. Like, you know, come on out, you know, so.
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. I'm telling you, man, like, after you did that show, it was like D Smoke was out here. And it was just I saw your social media skyrocket.
It went nuts.
In real it was like, man, he skyrocketed. And not everybody from that show skyrocketed like that.
I mean, like everybody had a boost.
They had a boost.
A boost.
But some boosts were like, it was you, old girl, what was her name?
London B.
London B had a big boost. The
Troy
guy
Man and Flawless.
Yeah. And it was like, and so, and I was reaching out to others that were on the show, and I was like, yo, you did good, this, that, and the third. And then to see you win the show, put out dope projects right behind it, and then we see you in like, bringing out heavyweight champions and like, doing things. Then the Grammy nominations, it's just like, man, dog. Did you expect all that? Or was it like, man, this is...
We couldn't sit back and expect it, but we had a strategy. We envisioned it.
Okay.
Like we had a strategy to go and really share what content we had with the world. And I think in continuing what happened on Rhythm and Flow, because it kind of had a documentary element, there were some conversations where they could really see who I was as a person. And I think while we're putting out quality stuff and then we're having all these conversations with people who just want to touch base with me because it's like, oh, we got the winner of Rhythm and Flow here. And then they open up a conversation. It's like, oh, he's legit. He's from a legitimate place, has a real story. Come back. You know what I'm saying? And that was just as much a part of, the growth of last year as the music and the response we got from the music. It's like, okay, who is this guy and where is he from?
Right.
And what is the story that he has to tell, So that was a plus, too.
I think one of the biggest appeals about you is your story because you come from Inglewood, California. In the hip-hop realm, when we think Inglewood, we think of, hood.
Mac 10.
Bloods. Violence. Then, but since I grew up in those kind of environments in Chicago, I know the full scope of what kind of people live in the hood.
Right.
When you're from the outside looking in, you think everybody's violent.
Right.
Everybody's gang related.
Right.
I know it from there's real families there. There are churchgoers there. There are teachers that live in this community. And so you embody the person from the hood that has a strong family base, musical in church, but also hip hop. You're bilingual. You used to teach. You do hip hop. You do, jazzy type music. So your story is like, because a lot of people come out and you don't really get a feel for who they are. It's just one dimensional. They out here rapping. They got a stack of money. They from the streets.
Using it as a phone.
Yeah. And that's pretty much all we get. But with you, it's like we get a full story. We get a full plate of food here. And it's just like, I think that's what was refreshing about you. So when we do see you, and your content matter in your music, it's like, yo, he's actually talking about something. And I think there's a real hunger for rap with content. Right. Even though the songs out here, they gonna do what they gonna do. The kids like the fluff. But for that real, like, for people to hold on to things, like how we hold on to Nipsey and like, then we went back, and when people like really went back and listened to Nipsey's music, it's like, yo, he was always talking about something. It felt like everything Nipsey said was urgent and like important and like a conversation. And, three of the biggest rappers out right now, in my opinion, are Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole. Those are like the three kings of
people doing
rap.
it. Yeah.
People actually caring about their whole album's body of work, and they got the sales. So it's like, but two of those out of the three have serious content. Not to say that Drake doesn't, but Drake is more of a relationship type rapper. He raps about relationships, women, love, and money. And what I mean? But Kendrick and J. Cole, they talk about life, the black community, the struggle, hip hop, buttery. And I feel like you come up in that vein of like a Kendrick, J. Cole in terms of what you're rapping about.
Gotcha.
And you got the ace in the hole, you're bilingual.
Right.
So then you can switch lanes and rap a full song in Spanish and tap into a whole nother market of, people that, our community may overlook, but there's millions.
Right. No, absolutely.
It's like you go to somebody's page, you never heard of them. They got 65 million followers because they popping in South America, Mexico, you know, and that whole thing. So I feel like you are a truly unique cat out here.
Thank you.
And I think that's gonna help you go far for a long time.
Thank you.
Like, cause you know we really feel it.
That's for sure to go.
And I'm glad the Grammys noticed you.
Man, ain't that big?
Cause you know they be bullshitting on the hip hop joint. In my opinion, they be like, "Who sold the most? Nominate them."
You know what's funny? I really expected to get a look on the BET side of things, and it was the reverse. You know, so they have, because on the BET side they got best lyricist.
Yeah.
But then that went to like all the most popular artists, and I was like, I thought we made the distinction in order to create space for people who prioritize lyrical content over what's, you know, selling necessarily. You know, somebody said good music is like, oh no, what did they say? Oh no, it was Lennox Lewis who was talking about boxing. It's like quality boxing is like jazz music. The better it is, the less people care.
Yeah.
You know, everybody want the slugfest. Like, oh, bam, we both standing in each other, in front of each other, pounding each other's face.
Right.
Whereas when you get Mayweather, people start boxing fans, like boxing aficionados start to hate, like, he running or he, like, no, this is the highest form of this craft.
Right.
You know, and in the same way, in music, it's like, sometimes it seems like the stuff that skyrockets is the stuff like, well, that shit, you know what I'm saying? Or, I don't know what it, you know, but so that was something that resonated with me too for that same reason.
Yeah, because it's like you see it, like, you know, people wait. They waiting on anything. Kendrick was just like, please, just give us something. Or the same with J. Cole. He'll you know, in May, what's he bringing? Because there's a hunger for, you know,
for some
that rap with some meat on
that
the
walks
bones.
that line.
Yeah,
and it's no less entertaining. That's and I think that's the part that needs to be mentioned about the Kendricks and Coles and Drakes.
Yeah.
It's no less entertaining. It's just as dope as, you know what I'm saying? And it's got its fair dose of honest nigga shit. Because even our conscious, you're not that conscious if you never fucked up. You know, you're not that aware if you never made them mistakes in life, because you're basically only going off of what somebody told you if you never made a mistake.
Right.
When you make those mistakes, you going off of what you know. Like, nah, don't go down that road, boy, because I've been there. You know what I'm saying? So when you start being honest enough in your music to be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, she was at the house, didn't really care that much, but we fucking this and that and the other. But then you go deeper into that story, and you're telling the story, you're not glorifying it one way or the other.
Right.
But it allows people to really process these kind of life experiences from a real honest standpoint, you know. So they're for sure masters at that, and poets and authors in their music. You know?
Right. And those are the people we draw from the most, people that have experienced those things. Because if you feel like somebody's preaching to you or they judging you and they've never, you know, messed up or done this, you'd be like, yeah, but you know, you can't. But when that person tell you, I used to be out here doing
you
this.
Be like, tell me about it. Right.
Like, oh, you too? Yeah, how'd you overcome that? Well, this is what I did. And then, you know, we tap into that.
Exactly.
Who are your 5 favorite MCs?
5 favorite. Let's
5
go.
favorite. We can do
it
all
always
time
changes. If you find
or
another
right
interview,
now?
we gonna go all time. For
All
sure.
time, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do both.
All right.
Give me your all time
Dear
and your
Lord,
right now.
Dear Lord. My all time, we gonna go Andre 3000.
Okay.
We gonna
He's
go
in my top 5 as well.
Jay-Z.
He's in my top 5 sometimes.
We gonna go Corrupt.
Okay.
I'm from the West. You know what I'm saying?
Corrupt be rapping, man.
I'm gonna go Snoop.
Okay.
Andre 3000, Jay-Z, Corrupt, Snoop, and Lauryn Hill. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lauryn Hill.
I gotta go with Lauryn, bro. Lauryn raps better than everybody. Like, what are we talking about? Lauryn is a better rapper than everybody. You know, even Jay-Z said, then 3000 came, you know, that shit was ill. Something like a male version of Lauryn Hill. Like, he parallels them in what they're able to accomplish in rap, you know. So, and there's so many honorable mentions, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, my current
Who
5.
the current 5?
My current 5, I'm gonna go with. We're gonna do Kendrick and Cole for sure. what's so tough is I left Nas out of my other one. Put Nas in there somewhere, mix it up, and
I'll
make it
gladly
6.
put him in there.
Please, please. I'm like, how'd that happen? But I gotta go because as a kid, it's them West Coast ones that I saw myself in.
Yeah.
As a young college student, I was like, ooh, Nas did it right. But as a kid, I was like, ooh, Corrupt talking.
Yeah.
Like you walk these streets and you feel like, oh, he knows this.
He sounded familiar to you.
Yes.
Like he was around the corner. I love.
He helped me understand as a 10-year-old. He helped me understand the 14-year-olds and the 15-year-olds that I'm looking at every day. You know, so Corrupt. That's why I had to put him in there. And Snoop and all those people that's from the West, it helped me understand what I was walking into. Because 10 on the West Coast, 10 is where you start to see like, oh, I have to learn a set of rules. Like you're not really familiar with gangbanging, but you starting to see it like, oh, they saying cuz, oh, they big brother is this. Oh, they know the people that shoot and got guns and this and then, but my big brother from over there, oh, so they wear a different color. And then you start putting it together like, and then by the time you're 16, you got a map in your head of what the streets look like, what section you in when you cross that boundary, what bus goes to where. Like you know the LA streets, you know.
Yeah. Were you ever pressured to join anything?
You
You and your brother, your younger brothers. Were you
not
all...
pressured. The thing is,
What was
not
prominent
pressured
in your
to join.
neighborhood?
We got Bloods,
Bloods,
Inglewood
okay.
families.
Okay.
So we weren't pressured to join. We was banged on, and if we was scared, then that would have turned into pressure to join.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like when you get banged on, it could go one of several ways. It could be like, man, we gonna beat this nigga up and take his shit, right? Or it could go like they press you and then they test your temperature and then they see you got a little heart and then they let you go. You know, or it could just, you know, one day it's bad and they just decide, you know, we gonna fight this little kid. You know what I'm saying? Regardless. He said he don't bang none of that. And we got all of it, you know. Me and my brothers, and plus my older brother was from that neighborhood, so we started like boxing everybody in the neighborhood. Like we just knew everybody. We rode bikes everywhere. We knew everybody. And then, you know, enough people we had actually chunked them with. And then after a certain point, they like, nah, he's solid. Okay. You know, you just get this pass, you know. And then at Inglewood, you know, I remember my 9th grade year, I was in the honor roll assembly. I was the first name they called because I had a 4.0. I had no B's. And then there was gang members in there. And I remember this dude who in the 9th grade, I come in the high school 5 foot even. And I remember him being like, hey, Blood, I always thought you was a little gangbanging ass nigga. Like, you smart? And I literally used to tutor so many gang members, like on every side, like the Mexican gang members who didn't like some of the black gang members. I tutored them in math, this and that and the other. So everything is like a pass of its own. In my neighborhood, we had hands. That's a pass. At my school, I was the smart kid. That's a pass. Leave them alone. And once you got a pass, it's like leave them alone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or else it's consequences to they little homies. Okay. You know, and it became that when, you know, I started getting sweated by somebody and I knew they homie, I'd be like, hey, your boy tripping, you know. And then next thing you know, I don't know what the conversation they have is, but the next week he come back like, hey, Blood, I just want to say I'm sorry for how I came at you and you know, you solid. Yeah. I'm like, damn, what did he say? You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
The passes.
You know, so that's just how that was. We weren't pressured to get into a gang, but we also had our crews, though. You know what I'm saying? And some crews are small on campus. Some crews are big in the community and have ties with the gangs. So I have my crew that's like that. You know what I'm saying? That never required me to go out and be like, I'm from here, you know? Yeah. But they for sure had my back with anything. Like, they had guns, too. They had, you know what I'm saying? Right. But they had families. They was old enough to be like, look, we ain't about this, but we with it, though. And they kind of want to relive their heyday. Like, if it come to it, just let me pull up and not, you know. So as the academic, they rule for me was like, don't get into the bullshit. You got a future. Like, that. What they taught me early was like, everybody in the hood got a position. It's gang members that, my brother Ron was the gang member that was smart. So he would take the SAT for the athlete gang members who also had college opportunities and stuff. Okay. I mean, he had guns, he had shootouts and this and that and the other, but he wasn't the one that they would call when it's like, it's a war going on, come over here. It's like, no, Ron is smart. Ron, go to community college, do this.
We need the paperwork filled out to get out of this jam.
Exactly.
All of y'all are scholars?
Everybody's smart. Not everybody chose academia. I chose it. Like, I was like, oh, I'm an athlete in this regard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm competitively. I would talk to my teachers like, hey, because I was braided up, hoodies and chucks, like dressing like I thought Corrupt would, you know, but except in the Blood City. I wasn't wearing all blue, it was black and white and stuff.
So I would have the colors neutral.
Yes. Right, because I learned early in the 9th grade too, wearing the color of the hood you in is just as dangerous as wearing the opposite color in that neighborhood. Like I'm walking through, at the time, a Crip neighborhood because there's this little pocket of Crips in Inglewood by where my homie used to stay, and I'm in blue, and the Bloods pulled through looking for some Crips. You know what I'm saying? And think we're them. And had we not run, you know, we could have all been shot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, had we run, actually. Had they not had a chance to see our face clearly, you know, they could have just started busting at us. Somebody got caught. They ran up on them and finished one of our homies off. But because we was minding our business, chilling, laughing, and his car pull up, and we think they just about to do donuts. We didn't know they swerving to pull up on us. So we stand there, watch like, oh, this is cool. And then the car pull up. The dude in the backseat hop up, sit up on the windowsill with the gun right here, and they start banging. This do F this, F dissing that hood that we was in. And then it was only 5 seconds, 7 seconds in that we realized like, oh, this for us. Right. And then we already looking at them like, wait, no. Like, and then we just was like, we was already frozen, so we was like, that ain't us. And I'm looking, and they still going, and it's like it's in slow motion. And I see one of them, then I'm like, oh shit, I know him. Like, he's in my class. Like, and I'm looking at him like, bro, like, say something. And then he panics, because when we connect, he's like, no, blood, that ain't, like, he panics. He's trying to grab the niggas like, nah, like, get back in the car. Because it's one thing, if they'd have hopped out the car, it's like, okay, you might get beat up. You know what I'm saying? You might get jumped. But they was right there, like, on call. They was waiting for us to either say something that was like, yeah, we who you think we are, or if we'd have just ran and they never looked at us, you know what I'm saying, who's to tell? So I don't know how that story came up, but but I was saying it was black and white because I knew, like, we didn't have cars till the 11th grade. When I got a car, I was wearing what the fuck I wanted. You know what I'm saying? I showed up to Inglewood one time with blue chucks on, you know, but it's because I was in the 11th grade. They knew I wasn't no gang member. And, of course, a couple bloods was like, hey, Smoke, you out of line today. And I'm like, all right. You know, what about it? You know, no, I was a senior. I didn't do that 11th grade.
Okay.
I was a senior. But it's also because I'm pulling up to the very spot where I'm going.
Right.
It was
you
when
got to
you
walk
walking,
through the community.
Man, come on, it's when you walking.
Yeah.
Then 4 blocks from the bus stop to your house are long. You know what I'm saying? It's when you walking that you like, all right, look, I got to know these rules. You know, so yeah, we didn't get pressured to get put on like, you got to be from here. And some niggas did. Yeah. But it's also because they didn't see them as anything other than a potential gang member. Okay. If you look like a basketball player, the gangs will push you into whatever you supposed to be in. If you like, you a gang member and I know it, bring your ass. You know? Because the only other thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna reach what I call the street maturity age and choose a side. So they like, nah, you gonna come this way, you know.
Okay. But dang, man.
It's L.A.
That's why.
L.A. wild. L.A. wild. And the sad part is it's still like that.
Yeah, still.
It's still like that. You know,
I think the misconception is everything is chill now, but
no, it's just different. It's more complex because it's like now you got social networking. You know, a lot of gang members' pages is private, but their name is real clear. Like this from this. Like it's a gang member page, but it's like people know who each other are from other hoods. And then you have alliances, like unorthodox alliances. You know, you do the animal videos, you see the dog who becomes best friend with a duck. You know, sometimes it'd be like, I don't care what nobody think. You know, we from rival neighborhoods, but that's my nigga right here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so you get past, like, you got, you know, Nipsey and YG in music videos together. And a lot of it is around, like, okay, if you never disrespected me, even if you from the other side, we mature enough to know that we're more similar than we are different. You know what I'm saying? And Nip talked about that. He was like, you know, when you and your homies out on a mission, you actually looking for people with the same mannerisms, style, posture as you. You know what I'm saying? When you going out hunting for niggas, you know, you're not looking for the squares who walk straight and narrow and stuff. You're looking for people who have that same energy as you, you know. And so I think most gang members who ain't the youngsters is always lost. They start off with that energy, got something to prove, and, you know, sometimes they can't be told nothing. But after a certain point, it gets complex, you know.
Yeah.
I got homies that was major Crips. It's love, you know what I'm saying? And they'll show up for you, like, for an event, you know what I'm saying? They'll show up and support a concert or this and that and the other, where it's like, people be like, yeah, homie did this. But then when it's time, like, I had very few homies at my college graduation, and I was mad. I almost denounced my little clique, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm the first nigga from the gang that got the, you know what I'm saying? And y'all didn't show up. And in my speech, I give it up with my little subs, like, you know what I'm saying? Our number is the 7. You see D-Smoke 7. So I'm over here, you know, I say all kind of 7s, quotes in my speech, and I had 3 there, and we 70 deep. I'm like, y'all whack. But, you know, we've since made amends. You know?
Yeah, but you gotta let them know, man. Where was y'all
man,
at?
show up, man.
Where was you at,
show
man?
Up. Show up.
Where did the name D-Smoke come from? What does it mean?
So D-Smoke, I have a older homie named Bray who went by Gunsmoke. So I used to always pull up at his house after school with the homie Chiz, rest in peace, and we would just eat all his food and do our homework and play chess because he lived in between like where school was and Inglewood. I mean, and the homie Chiz's house. And so, you know, I would just got Young Smoke from him. You know what I'm saying? Then my name Daniel, so then it became D-Smoke, you know. Okay. But the first time I ever smoked anything, I was in my 20s. And I don't smoke now, you know.
I was just about that. Do you smoke?
No. Yeah. And people who smoke hate that I'm D-Smoke. You know what I'm saying? They like, nigga, you can't. I'm like, well, if you wanna take the name from me, let's, you know, duke it out. If you win, I'm no longer, you know. So yeah. And then, but when I started producing, I used to say like D-Smoke's the name because the track is Flames. You know what I'm saying? Like
this was after the Peter Pan.
After my name is Dan the Man, and so that's, you know, a little progression.
Yeah.
But do you live in a can now?
No. Kind of. I'm in a studio, but it's exposed brick. Does that count?
I mean,
it's nice. It's got a cool aesthetic, but it's not very huge.
Okay, that's the can.
That's a proverbial can.
You should call it the can.
You trying to go to the can later?
And hey,
we making tracks in the can tonight.
In the can, we in the can.
Yeah, do you still live in Inglewood?
I don't live in Inglewood right now. No, not in Inglewood. My parents are they're like on the outside border of Inglewood. Okay. So I'm over there. But I don't live in Inglewood at the moment. You know, my last place was in Inglewood, and it was very central. So having the experience that I had, it would have been like, hey, y'all know D-Smoke is right there every day. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I'm looking to build like programs and stuff in Inglewood. Got strong relationships with the city and the mayor's office and stuff. So
okay, I like Inglewood.
That's gonna be my presence in the city. You feel me?
Yeah. I go whenever I go through Inglewood, I always look around because I'll be missing the blacks. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I live in Burbank, so yeah, you know, it's like 1%. But
is that an actual number?
It's like 1-2%.
That's tough. Yeah. That's like
according to Wikipedia. I think it's growing because we be seeing more, but it's like, you know, so when I go down that way, I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You go to Market Street.
And Inglewood is popping because Market Street, yes, that's over there. Isn't that over there by
not far from La Brea? So Market, Manchester, La Brea, that kind of area.
Yeah, where the soul food place is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, right on.
And then on that other side, that back side, where it looks like a nice walkable.
Yeah, that's Market.
That's Market Street.
Yeah, that's Market Street.
Yeah, I like that little spot right there. And you know, Inglewood is the hot spot because they building the stadium. It's coming, so
it's just so interesting that the stadium gets built, and now you can't fill it up. It's like, well, how small could it have been? You know, and what else could we have used it for? But when we imagine the stadium being built, and it's weird because a stadium is one block literally from. Like the very next block is the Great Western Forum, or the Forum. You know, it used to be the Great Western Forum. The Forum, and when they have concerts there, the block shuts down.
At the
Traffic is
Forum?
Yes, gridlock.
Prince was at the Forum for that.
For 30 days.
Did you go to that?
Yes. My uncle was the MD at the time.
Really?
The bass player, Andrew Goucher, was Prince's. Yeah.
So you went to multiple.
I went to 2. And my older brother Ron went to like 5. Yeah.
I'm so mad I didn't go.
You didn't go to 1.
I didn't go to 1.
Oh, man.
They was mad cheap.
And then he, they do Hollywood swinging. He said, Inglewood swinging.
I'm sure.
So, we was going nuts and then we was losing.
Dang, man.
Yes.
I kick myself constantly. Every time I see Prince, I had an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was mad cheap.
Dumb cheap. $30 something.
I was like, man, I'm dumb.
Yeah. And ain't a bad seat in there. Because it sound crazy. It's not a bad seat in that building. You could be at the top, partying. It was a party. It's like he did his, man, and then when it got the Purple Rain, the room, just the energy in the room. Purple rain. Just went up.
I'm mad, man.
Yeah.
Finish your current top 5. I cut you off on that because we got into the.
Who did I
you
get?
You said Kendrick Cole, and then we started talking about
Cole. I'm gonna go Smino. I like Smino.
Oh, Smino's dope.
It's hard to do lyricists because I want to say Masego. You know what I'm saying? I just Kendrick Cole, Smino, Masego. It's just a lot of honorable mentions. Shoot. Why am I going blank? Kendrick, Cole, Smino, Masego, and I'm going to go Saba.
Oh.
Saba's hella dope.
This week.
But I'm missing somebody. Oh, come on now. Rhapsody. What we doing?
Yeah.
Let's put that in the middle, you know what I'm saying? That's not the 6th, so all right, I'm gonna just mention Masego for the sake of being like, this nigga's just dope as heck. He's a musician and one of my favorite. But if we talking lyricists, I'm gonna go Kendrick, Cole, Rhapsody, Smino, and Saba.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was listening to Care for You the other day.
Yeah.
Because I was watching Southside. He's from Chicago, so it's like, yo, Saba. And I just started playing it again.
Saba
Matter of fact, when
hard.
we first got together, I was playing that album a lot. It was just like part of our little soundtrack at that time. But and then Rhapsody. Rhapsody is one of my favorite MCs, man.
Yes.
All her projects get major rotation.
Yes.
How'd you link up with Toby for the joint y'all did?
Man, I had reached out to Toby like probably before Rhythm and Flow and all that, He had things going on. I had some things going on, but he had been building for a long time, and I had some of his content I even used in my classroom, like,
oh wow,
just because you want to expose students to new art, because that's the best weapon you have to really change their character, because they're only imitating shit that they see, like, and they think it's cool, and then they see somebody walk that line the same way that my brother introduced me to Outcast. It's like they're for sure not corny, and you just know it off top, like, and then you like, oh, and they're for sure more than that other stuff that I get, So I would pull art into the classroom, and Toby was one of those dudes, like, I would just press play and be like, look how fucking cool this shit is. And have people develop assignments on references and different things just as warm-ups,
Yeah.
And then so by the time we connected, he had said a couple people had been like, hey, check him out. And then we connected, and we, he was like, man, I don't really work with niggas that I don't meet or know. So we was on the phone for like a couple hours just chopping it up, finding out where we coming from, what the story is, you know what I'm saying? And then we was like, all right, one day we'll do some music. You know what I'm saying? Left it at that. Then he eventually hit me with a track that was like, hey, I want you on this. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, say less. So I sent it back to him that night. That's my favorite thing to do when somebody, like, if it's a verse, it's like, I got a verse for you. So that night, it don't take. Come on, man. If you hone in, and I just take pride and pleasure in like sending something back. Like, let me focus. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a good exercise, because it's different when you write something when you write a verse for a song that's already a certain degree developed, you can focus on the creative, the content, the topic is there for you. And you can focus on how do I approach it. When you're writing songs for yourself, it's like I have touched on all of these topics for me already. Where do I go? You know what I'm saying? And then how do I do that creatively in a way that's going to be like, boom, how do I add color to it? Whereas when you get a topic from somebody else, like when Kirby hit me with Superpower, it already had so much dopeness in it that I was like, all right, let's color. Just go straight in, like, and play around. You familiar with Superpower?
Superpower.
We got superpowers.
Have I heard that?
We got superpower. Kirby, check it out. That's one of my favorite verses of myself.
I don't know if I heard that.
She talking about black people and us going through it and like embracing like our superpowers and and it's conscious but super soulful and dope. She a dope singer. Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
So yeah, check Kirby out.
Does your background in education help you with song structure and writing?
Yes, it does. Or yes and no. It makes it like they say ignorance is bliss, and I can't enjoy just some simple stuff that people would enjoy. My criteria for myself is more complex because of it. So sometimes I'll be like, people will be like, it sounds dope, yeah, this and that and the other, put it out, drop. And I'm like, I don't like it. It doesn't do enough for me. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of my background as an educator kicking in and adding additional criteria on top of what is already a good song. Yeah, exactly. The bibliography.
The bibliography.
And so, but in the same sense, when I meet that criteria for myself, I think that's also what gives me that edge. Like, yeah, it's a complete body. You did the entertainment thing. You did the rap thing, but you also did these very specific writer things. Like, what is your thesis behind it? You know what I'm saying? How do you develop it? How do you structure it? So.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
You got another question?
I actually have two questions. And I have another personal one. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month. What are some things that you do for self-care just to kind of get you back in a positive mindset if you ever find yourself, steering away?
Absolutely. I pray. And sometimes I pray like, hey, man, you do the talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I said all I know what to say. I don't know what's going on. I'm lost. But then I also believe in, like, sweating it out. Like, I work out, like, hard sometimes. Like, I box. I think as humans, we're also animals, and we like, our spaces to be animals are dwindling and being removed. And so you get in a place that has rhythm and sweat and heat and competition and all that stuff, like a boxing gym. You leave like, oh, I'm bigger than the little space I've confined myself to allows me to be. And I think that's a huge part of what mental health is. I asked a dog trainer. I have a friend who trains dogs. I was like, what's the main thing about training dogs? And she was like, play. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to let them get that energy out. It's there anyway. And in the same sense, I was like, that's so true. Like, because I approached, that shaped my approach on teaching too. It's like, get that shit out. Like, let's create it. It was all kind of games. Like, we got to play games. Because otherwise, they're going to make games in your class. So if it's like, we're just going to start off with this reading, it's all kind of games happening behind your back. And you're like, hey, I'm sensing something going on different. Right. You know what I'm saying? And you look dumb because you just disconnected from what's really happening in your environment. So I just so for mental health, I think our body holds on to chemicals that feed back into our mind, like these depressing things that it's like, and not to minimize what mental health is or say that people don't have actual health issues, but I think we sometimes look at the tools to address it from a narrow scope, not dealing with like we need places where there's controlled wildness or control, like, you know what I'm saying? Like sports athleticism. Like, how I asked somebody the other day, like, how often, when was the last time you did anything as hard or as fast as you could? Pause. I ain't asking like that. But you know what I'm saying? Kids, you run. And you don't just run to jog because you're supposed to. It's like, I'm going to get you. And you're like, and you run for your life. Yeah. Right? That energy is in you, and it doesn't stop being in you because you're an adult, but you don't release the same way. You know what I'm saying? And I would struggle to find a day where I did anything to the best of my abilities till exhaustion. And then afterwards, outside of the exhaustion, because exhaustion is its own kind of like, can be a depression, like I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. Yeah. But it's not the same mental turmoil that we find ourselves in, you know. And as a creative, you know, I'm not exempt at all. Like when I have a song that I'm in love with, I'm in the greatest mood. When I just did it, that's my best mood. Like, oh, I did that. I'm the man. I'm ready for the world. Like, I actually can do this. But then when it's like, the longer I go without having that feeling, that frustration kick in, and then by discipline, you throw yourself back into it until you get something that's just like, okay, that's it. You know, so
I know that feeling.
But yeah, I think, you know, diving into deep, good texts, you know, like lots and lots of reading, things we just forget to do. And I think the issue of mental health is so much more prevalent because of the speed at which the world moves and the speed at which we're taking in images that cause us to compare ourselves to other people, other lives and stuff. And we just don't have a healthy view of what's real, you know? And so, working out is very sobering. Reading is very sobering. It slows you down to a pace. It's like, okay, I didn't even realize that there are muscles that you use when you're reading to just focus. Like your mind, like following the words, that's a practice in and of itself. And I read well, but then I've been doing audiobooks for so long that when I picked up a book, I had to tell myself, like, nigga, keep looking at the words. Like, because I was like, everywhere, like, keep looking, just follow the whole page. Don't look away. And then it slowed me down. So we're just in an interesting time where it's like people gotta one, get that out their system and slow down and digest some stuff that's outside of this time that we live in. You know what I'm saying?
That's real. That's dope. That's super dope.
Love that answer.
That's a fantastic answer.
Yes,
that's the teacher in me.
Yeah,
teachers are counselors.
That was
if you're not counseling, you're a terrible teacher. Because if you, you deal with a lot.
I'm posting this clip.
Right. Marcus June asks, and I think this is a great
to hear.
You heard it. A great question to kind of like end off all the questions. He said, "Ayo, D Smoke."
What's up, Marcus
like
June?
That.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, dog?
What should a new follower look for to get to know you? What track should we start with to get hooked?
Oh, I like that question.
I actually think I know. Go back to the Inglewood High EP and listen to Inglewood High. That's a good starting place.
That's on my list.
Listen to Inglewood High. Ooh. Cause I start off talking my shit, but then I tell a quick little story. It's like, you know, super good in this bitch. The wood in this bitch. About to school these niggas like only I could in this bitch. Here by myself and I still got the whole hood in this bitch. Claiming new stomping grounds, gonna leave my whole foot in this bitch. Ankle deep and it's painful. My handkerchief is the spangled banner with the blood of black sons of slaves. Painting people's depictions. Won't be no sequel. Afflictions made me the true nigga that I am today. Did my homework in class. Walked the halls with no pass. 11th grade, I had it made. Held my bars when I laughed. My older brother sang and Sir chose to ball for his pass. I chose to get perfect grades and catch fades in the grass. 7 gang was the clique. It wasn't no blood or no crip. Was more like fraternity ties mixed with bare knuckles and clips. My big homie saw something in me. Said, fuck hitting licks and pistols. Your test scores gonna hit the lick with pencils. Teacher credentials. I never got them. They said, wasn't a problem. I sent that application. They said, you start tomorrow. What else? We gonna find a nigga black and fluent in Spanish. Might as well use it to our advantage. I went right back to Inglewood.
You know what's dope about that? So much of that in that verse was said in this interview.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was just like, it's the perfect, introduction.
Yeah.
That's it was
the
like,
one.
man,
That's where you
like,
start.
Yo, he just talked about all this.
Yes.
That's where you start. And that project, I love that project.
That's on my list of I create, I put together a list of my favorite D Smoke joints that we're going to post later. But Inglewood High is included among them.
There we go.
But we want to know your top 10 that I had you bring to the table.
Okay.
What you got in that thing? He can give us whole top 10?
first
top 10 songs of all time.
Top 10, man.
Ooh, my first one for sure. And these lists are hard for me because I do music. I love music. My first one is "As" by Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
Just if you listen to the lyrics and the music, it's just powerful. Stevie hears music different than anybody ever has. And ever will. And just the lyrics: "As around the sun, the earth knows she's revolving. As the rosebuds know to bloom in early May. Just as hate knows love's the cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you always." For today I know I'm living, but tomorrow might make me the past. But that I mustn't fear, because I know deep in my mind the love of me I left behind. So I'll be loving you always. Like, what? This is a poem. This is a poem. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So "As" is for sure, one of those. And there was very little music allowed in my house before I was like 12. Then afterwards, it's like, okay, you can't stop us from exploring. But before 12, it's like Stevie, Boyz II Men, gospel, and whatever else they deemed appropriate.
How did you find that song?
My mom played it for me.
Your mom played, okay.
Yes, my mom played it for me. She's big on Songs in the Key of Life, that whole project.
Okay, yeah.
Second song, "We Can Freak It" by Corrupt.
Oh, we can freak it. Hey. Ring if you want to.
Yep.
Shine if you want to. But
Cause
man,
I can't do. Let me tell you how I started on the grind for mine. Living life in my rearview.
That's feel-good music right there.
Man, that's incredible. Produced by DJ Battlecat, who also produced Sunkissed Child for me.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the one with Jill Scott?
Yes.
Yeah,
so, then we gonna go "Hey" by King. One of the prettiest songs I ever heard in my life.
I don't think I'm familiar with this one. Yeah.
Like, "Hey, I know."
I'm going to have to dig into that.
Yeah.
How we willing, cause it's already been told. Happily after.
This is an old song?
Nope, only happens in fairy tales, daydreams, and that. It's the prettiest song ever. It's just pretty. Like if you ever want to feel like close your eyes and be on a field of lilies in the prairie, bro, you just put that song on. It's just the prettiest song ever.
Is that 80s, 90s? When did that come out?
It's in the 2010 pluses.
Oh,
this is really
snap.
He said no. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you got Babylon Outcast.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yo, that's a dope one.
So, I want to say, is that the one where? Because I know the verses, but I get that whole project mixed up because I listened to the whole project.
This is a fluid project.
Is that the one where he's like, "Me and everything around me is unstable like Chernobyl, ready to blow at any moment, jumping like a pogo stick"?
Not.
Or is it back in the day when I was younger, hunger, looking to fill me belly with that rallies, bullshit, off like it was supposed to be pulled?
I think it's that.
Okay, so one of them.
Yeah.
But I know the verses. If you played it, I know it right now, and I like it.
Babylon, yeah.
Then we gonna go to my little bro, and we gonna say "Hair Down," Sir featuring Kendrick Lamar.
So good.
I remember when he played it for me before Kendrick got on it, and we all locked up. So I'm already like, pull the ponytail out. We gonna let her, you know what I'm saying? Baby, I'm about to let my head down.
Yeah.
And so he killed that. Then "The Light" by Common.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
That song.
I just need.
One of my favorites, man.
We need to redo that one. You know what I'm saying? With my cousin Tiff singing it. It's just an incredible song.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Common is also one of those people. One, he's just underrated, unsung. You know, because he put together projects, whole bodies of work that you don't have to skip nothing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so his B project and Finding Forever, like stop. So Common for sure, The Light. Then we gonna go Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
It's the mystery of iniquity. Said it's the history
It's on her
of
Unplugged.
iniquity. And when she start rapping, what? Y'all can't handle the truth in the courtroom of lies. Perjures the jurors, witnesses, spies, crooked lawyers, false indictments, publicized, it's entertainment, the arraignments, the subpoenas, high-profile gladiators in bloodthirsty arenas. Like, I'm like, all right, nobody can hang with
I
you.
think Lauryn Hill could have been the biggest artist of all time.
She is one of the biggest. Oh, but the biggest artist.
I think she could have been.
Yeah, that was her trajectory. And
Yeah.
but we, as the consumer of music, never think of how unfair that can be to a person,
True
depending on what they want their life to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? She makes music from this very honest, very real, and very gifted. Her gift is just so overwhelmingly powerful that it's like, I think at times it's like she needs to be human. You know, I'm trying to find spaces, design spaces to just be human.
Right.
You know, but that was brilliant. Then we gonna go again, another DJ Battle Cat slapper. We gonna go Cali is active.
Oh, Cali is active.
So exactly.
Yeah, that's a good one. Is that Dog Pound?
That's it. Snoop and the Dog Pound, and that's again produced by DJ Battle Cat.
Man,
You know, and then Ups and Downs, Snoop.
there will be. Yeah,
Ups and downs, smiles and frowns.
Yeah.
Share with me.
that's a good one.
That's produced by Warren Campbell, who's and that's what I used to follow. You know, coming up like who produced it, who
Yeah.
made the beat, and he was one of my favorite producers coming up, and he's actually friends with my uncle and stuff too. And I remember him like when me and Chiz first made a project, and it not being that good. Like this is because we had a project before the one we actually put out that we thought was it, and he listened to the whole thing, and he was like, "Yeah, it's good. Keep it up." And I'm over here like, "But don't you got label connections at this? Don't you want to sign us or something?"
Yeah.
And all we got was a
Like,
keep it up. But he heard the whole thing though, you know, and that no matter what he said about it after that, I was like, all right, respect. You know, he let us play through the whole project, you know. So he probably don't remember that. And at the time, his artist Damani, who is another legend out of Inglewood, he was there. Damani had on like some $800 pair of jeans and this and that, and he was in the space. And Damani has since like transformed into this. He has a project now out called Thoughtful King that's been out for some years. It's incredible, and it just shows that transformation. But I just remember going in there and being the youngsters in the studio, and I bet he don't remember that because he does stuff like Snoop and a lot of music, Soul Child stuff, and he played keys on a lot of Pac stuff from way back and all that. So, and then "Lovely Day" by Bill Withers. I'm going that in number 10. "Lovely Day" by Bill Withers. When I wake up in the morning, and the thing is, and look, I'm gonna admit I don't know the words to "Lovely Day." Cause it's one of them songs. It's one of them songs that I started singing long before I knew it.
Yeah.
So I'm not even fully listening because I love it and I'm participating.
That song is a feeling. Like even if you don't know the words, you feel every minute, every second that it's on. You just like
Every
it immediately
morsel.
takes you somewhere.
Yep.
Every time. Every
Yes,
time
sir.
I hear it.
Have you ever watched the live version with the drummer? He's always smiling. Oh my God, it's my favorite video ever.
Lovely Day Live.
He does Use Me live in the same. It's in the same set. And, yo, the drummer is my favorite because he's smiling nonstop. You see all this pain in Bill Withers' face, but like they pan to the drummer. He's the happiest man alive.
I'm gonna watch
no
that.
matter what.
I always want to be the drummer.
I want to be him.
Him, exactly.
Him.
That dude.
That drummer.
That guy.
That's funny.
Yeah, man. So that's D Smoke's
That's my top 10. It's so much off of that list. Hey, look, can I go ahead and say I think Fred Hammond is one of the most brilliant musicians in any genre of
Fred
music,
Hammond's so
period.
dope, man.
And an incredible gospel artist. And so he's one of my top artists of all times. You know,
I love his voice.
yeah, oh man, his voice is like a blanket.
I always sing Dominion
Like
Forever. That's my. It was like a little interlude on one of his albums, Dominion Forever. I always sing that.
Dominion
Forever, man.
forever.
Blessings in honor, oh God. Glory and power, oh God.
That's a
His voice, you could just hear. Man, I love it.
Hey, he's dope.
Love it. Shout out to Fred Hammond.
Fred Hammond. Hey, if somebody tell Fred that we talking about Fred, Uncle Fred, we love you. God bless you.
I'm posting this clip.
God bless you, Uncle Fred.
So many clips.
I'm posting the
Post
clip.
that clip.
Listen, man, I want to thank you for coming through. This was great.
Absolute pleasure.
You were my first guest, and you killed it.
Hey, man.
You killed it. I was
man.
nervous to have a guest on, and you made the transition perfect.
Thank you.
Anything you want to plug to the people? Anything you got coming up?
Yeah.
What about the album that's on 415, man? Talk about that.
Hey, you said on what?
The album you got now.
Hey, that's cooking on 415. It's baking. It's baking. Well, let's just say this. I earlier this year I went to Africa. I went to Nigeria, and I collaborated with a lot of artists out there.
Oh, that's dope.
And so we're gonna put some of that content on this one.
Okay.
You know, so I believe we have the title of the project. We got the storyline. We got a lot of dope stuff and a couple visuals already in the bag.
Okay.
So
you went to Nigeria, man, real quick. How was that?
Lovely. I mean, everything except for the airport experience during this time is something else. Like we already had to struggle with the whole like, all right, get butt naked and walk through the scanner. You know what I'm saying? Walk back through. You know. Now I gotta frisk you because you know, and so, but now it's just like. You know, I don't know how many times. It took us an hour to get to see if our bags had got set to the side. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, visas and this and that and COVID desk number 1 through 7, you know. But once we left the airport, they was like, my brothers, welcome home. They was welcome home. Everybody, welcome home. And then,
that was the energy?
Yeah, what?
Oh, that's
bro,
dope.
I mean, I'm talking about, and some of it has to do with nigga being de-smoked, you know what I'm saying? And that's cool, though, because we are the kind of people that could create those bridges to where it's like, one, just give, if the world gave Nigerians, Kenyans, South Africans, Africans in general the opportunity to tell their own story, you know what I'm saying? We're so used to this marketing campaign that starts when we're kids. It's like, for 1 cent a day, you can feed thousands of teary-eyed with flies around and big belly, and that's not it, bro.
Right.
It's like they don't put those commercials about downtown LA. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So every place has its Skid Row.
Right.
You go there and you create this whole campaign to tarnish the image of what it means to be in that very beautiful, very wealthy, and not just wealthy in terms of from our standpoint, but in terms of art, culture, and viewpoints and outlooks that contribute to the world, you know. So I think that was one place where I went where almost everybody was ridiculously smart and or ridiculously good at something because they had to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody I encountered was like, if you into this, you like, and everybody just had something to educate me about there. And these are the people that showed us their Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
that's dope, man.
the artists are crazy. The level of talent out there is ridiculous. The level of style out there, the video directors out there, pushing every envelope. Stuff that out here is like, you know, if you push me, most of the time I gotta play defense because you just pushing me right into what industry stuff is. Whereas from their standpoint, it's like, okay, I did my research. I know where you at. I know what you haven't done. Now this is you 3.0. This ain't just like, oh, the industry's doing this, do this. It's like the stylists and the video directors got me doing stuff that I'm like excited to do because that's where I see myself going. But I invite that creative input, you know, so.
That's dope.
But Africa was dope experience, and so you'll get some of those gems on the next project. Okay. You know, and so what I'm working on now is like, how do we bridge that with the very Inglewood, very Black and Latino thing? Is it too many ingredients in there? You know, am I putting cilantro on top of the Alfredo? You know what I'm saying? Is it a herb that don't add? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe
That
parsley.
might taste good though.
It might. Cilantro is hard to go wrong
I
with.
love
Yeah,
cilantro, man.
everything.
That was gonna be my rap name.
For a moment, I'm gonna just take this second out while we talking about food. Have you tried this hot sauce called?
I'm gonna stop you right there and say no because I'm not.
You don't eat hot
sauce.
sauce?
We don't do
Oh,
hot
okay.
sauce.
Damn.
But continue, describe it to the people.
I just went
though.
blank.
Is it the truffle one?
Truff.
I already knew because everybody talking about
Ooh,
that.
that's
I'm
my
not gonna lie.
shit.
I like truffle flavored things, even though I don't like hot sauce. I'm like, I might try it.
Have you
And
tried
it's
it,
not
Cam?
too. It's not too spicy.
Oh.
Do you do light spice?
No.
Nah, she
No,
not
not
about
even-
that
okay.
spice, man.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
No, I'm such a.
It's
You
so
do spice,
light.
Cam?
It's so light. It's a light spice, but it's a lot of flavor.
Okay.
Ooh. I'm sorry. They,
All right.
they
If
should
it's
pay
light,
me
you
for
know what
that.
I'm saying? Yeah, man.
Hey, somebody send this to Truff. Give me a lifetime supply of the white kind.
We're gonna post
The
the
white
clip.
Yeah, that's gonna be the clip.
We're gonna post the
We
clip.
got a few clips going.
The only one that's mandatory is the Fred Hammond one is mandatory.
Oh, Fred Hammond, man.
Hammond
We
is
posted the
mandatory.
clip.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, man. Appreciate you. Come back.
Hey, I will.
Anytime you want to, we can have you back on.
I will.
Yeah, we can break down different lists if you want to. So the
Yes,
list
sir.
can keep coming. We can
Gospel. We gonna have a gospel episode.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
all
Shoot.
gospel. We narrow it down, and
Yeah.
then we could talk.
I'm gonna bring Kevin here on that one because he knows his
Let's
gospel.
go. Oh man, Kev.
He knows
Please.
his gospel. So
Oh, we
Please.
could do a whole interview in Spanish since Tony's working on it.
yeah,
Oh, there we go.
I'm gonna be up in here frozen solid,
Yeah.
trying to get it out. Thank you though, bro.
Absolute pleasure.
For those of you just getting familiar with D Smoke, you follow him on social media. On Instagram, it's D Smoke.
They smoke 7.
D
The
Smoke
number
7
Yeah,
on Instagram. Same thing on Twitter.
everything.
D Smoke 7 on everything,
Yeah.
man. Check out his music. Preferably if you got Tidal,
There we go.
go there. Because they give artists the most. Yeah, they pay the most.
And it's black on.
And it's black
You
owned.
know,
So Tidal
Ain't
is
nothing
the
wrong with that.
Tidal is the move. I'm gonna put the playlist, my playlist of D Smoke joints on my social media soon. So be on the lookout for that. I want to shout out my patron saints in here that was watching this live, that was bringing in the questions. Love y'all passionately in the shower. You already know that. And thank you to my Sabrina, my
my
producer, producer of the show. She came up with the concept behind the playlist. So, and I'm excited, man.
Awesome.
I'm glad you came, man, and I'm proud of you.
Thank
And I'm excited about everything you put forth. I'm pulling up to it. You got me as a fan and
Let's
as a
go.
friend.
Hey, there we go.
So I want to invite to the family function so we can sit there and marvel at the talented family
Pull
when y'all
up.
busting the songs at random.
Pull up. You gotta sing along though, whether you know it or
I'm
not.
singing. If
Okay,
I,
for
yeah,
sure.
I'll sing it. It's gonna be terrible,
I'm
but
a
I'm
dance.
all
That's what
in.
it's about.
I'm dancing in the background.
Yeah.
There we go.
I got no problem with that.
There we go. When my
Anyway.
mom see this, you won't be able to escape.
Oh
That's
man,
it.
let's get it.
That's it. Yes, sir.
Let's get it, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to another session of that verbal cardio.
Yeah.
Boom.